All right, you guys. Jufro, I'm back with some picks. We have a huge fight weekend, and I'm gonna pick 6 fights, 5 in the UFC, and there's a major boxing fight. This is a fight I've been looking forward to. Was more excited about 5 years ago, but that didn't happen. I'll explain what it is. So UFC 291 is this weekend, and we have a really great card. No title fights, which I know people are I've had a few people tell me, oh man, no title fights. Well, we had 2 title fights the last pay-per-view. But I think it's a great card, main card at least. It's a great main card. So let's get into it. So the first one will be welterweight. It's going to be number 12, Michael Chiesa, who lost his last fight. He's fighting Kevin Holland, who won his last fight. Look, Chiesa the thing is, I feel like he's inconsistent. He has some strengths, which is obviously his grappling. Striking, though, I don't think he'll be able to compete with Holland. And this is why I'm leaning towards Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland also very inconsistent as well. Sometimes you're like, hey, I think he'll do, I thought he was going to beat Wonder Boy, and he didn't. But I think the thing is he'll avoid the takedown. I think striking, he'll pick apart Chiesa, and he'll get the W there. So we'll go with that. The next one. Now, a few years ago, obviously we would know who we'd pick here, but it's Tony Ferguson against Bobby Green. Now, Ferguson, as you know, lost to Diaz in his last fight. And Bobby Green fight went, it was a no contest. So, look, Ferguson is a great fighter. But at this point in his career, I think he's done. I really, truly think he's done. I think Gaethje beat him, and that really changed his career. Looked like he was doing pretty decent against Chandler, and he got that foot to the face. I think he's done. Personally, Ferguson, I think he's going to lose this fight, so I'm picking Green. And I hope after he loses this one, he retires. Had a great career. Unfortunately, him and Khabib never fought in their primes. But, I mean, it'd be cool to see Ferguson win. But I just don't see it now at this point. It sucks. It is what it is. We can just look back and say, man, Ferguson, one of the best fighters. But, yeah, his time's done. Next one at welterweight. Now, this should be an exciting fight. You have Stephen Wonderboy Thompson against Michel Pereira. I hope I'm saying it right. Pereira is a very unpredictable fighter, but he's been on a little bit of a streak. So I give him that. I always think he's just not going to do well, and yet he pulls some surprises. Wonderboy, won his last fight, but he lost to Bilal Muhammad. But here's the thing. Pereira's not going to take him down. So I feel this is why I say it. I think it'll be a fun fight, exciting, which I think this is going to be a mainly stand-up fight. And with that, I'm going to actually go with Wonderboy. I know a lot of people, I know he's older, but I think if there was a threat of a takedown with Pereira, then I would pick him. But because it's going to be striking, and I'm not sold completely on Pereira, I'm going to go with Wonderboy Thompson. And plus I like Wonderboy. He's such a nice guy, wholesome guy. So I love to see him win. So there's that. Now, the co-main event. I've been waffling back and forth about who I think is going to win this fight. So it's going to be former light heavyweight champ Jan Blachowicz against Alex Pereira. So he is making his light heavyweight debut. Now, Jan was in a draw last time against Ankalaev. I thought Ankalaev won, but, it was a draw. As we know, Pereira was champ, got knocked out by Izzy, so he moved up in weight. Like I said, I've been teetering back and forth on this. I'm going to go with Jan. The reason why is, again, Pereira's ground game is questionable. And kind of like what Jan did with Izzy, he took him down when they fought. I'm not saying, so that's the thing. I think Jan can take him down. Now, both have tremendous knockout power. Again, I think Pereira's power will translate over into light heavyweight. I don't think that's gonna be an issue. But Jan has that Polish power as well. But so I either have the ability to knock the other one out with one shot, and it could very well happen. But I think Jan's gonna go for the takedown. I think he'll be able to get it, and I think he'll control the fight there. So because of that, I'm gonna pick Jan. But again, I'm not 100% sold on this because, like I said, part of me thinks, man, Pereira now he's not weight drained. You know, that power will carry over, and he has deadly power. So, but I'm gonna go with Jan there. And now the main event. So I guess it is technically for a title, the BMF title, and these two dudes are just amazing, badass fighters. You have number 2 Dustin Poirier against number 3 Justin Gaethje. Now Gaethje won, and I picked against him last fight. And even though I love Gaethje, he's one of my favorite fighters. Got to meet him personally. I always tell everybody that anyways, but I got to meet him personally, so I really like him. So it's kind of an attachment thing. I thought he was going to lose to Fiziev, but he won. It was a great fight, very entertaining. Poirier beat Chandler his last fight. So, you know, these two guys have fought, and they fought before, and they fought the best of the best. My heart is leaning for Gaethje, but because Poirier won their last fight, the fight they had before, this is the second time they're fighting, and he's very durable, I'm gonna go with him. Now, again, I want him to lose. Not really. I'm not a fan of Poirier, but I just, you know, I sometimes think when you've won before, that kind of holds a mental edge. They're both very resilient, though if anybody's been knocked out more recently, it's been Gaethje, and it was to Poirier. So, you know, I mean, it's happened a few times, but again, pulling for Gaethje. I hope it happens, but I'm going to give the win to Poirier. So, Poirier, Jan Blachowicz, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, Bobby Green, and Kevin Holland. So, this is going to be the 5 for UFC. So, and this is going to be maybe the one time I actually watch boxing, not the whole card, just the main event, boxing over UFC, is because one of my favorite boxers is going to be fighting. That's Errol Spence. Errol Spence Jr. versus Terrence Crawford. I mean, this fight honestly should have happened years ago. Personally, in my heart of hearts, I think if this fight would have happened before Spence's crash, and if you guys don't remember, Spence was driving under the influence. I think he was under the influence, was in ICU. To me, he's still a great boxer. I feel like he hasn't looked the same since, but again, he's still undefeated. I feel like if they would have fought prior to that accident, I would say with 100% confidence, I think he would beat Crawford. Going fast forward to today, I'm still going to pick Spence. But it's more of a pick-em fight to me. And I think people might look at it and say that's crazy, because you would look, if you even back in 2019, because Crawford was destroying everybody, he still has. But I just think Spence hasn't looked the same. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm tripping, whatever. But I still favor Spence. Still think he's fought better competition throughout his career than Crawford. I think he's a little bit bigger. So, again, I think he's going to go to a decision. I'd love to see him knock out Crawford. I think that would just solidify his career as well. But like I said, it sucks because this is what happens with boxing when you have a lot of great fighters and they don't want to fight one another. But nevertheless, we are here, 2023, Spence versus Crawford. I'm rooting for Spence. So guys, please let me know in the comments if you agree with the UFC picks. I'd really love to know your take on Spence versus Crawford. Yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoy this. Again, I hope I do better than 2-3. Hopefully for a 6-0 weekend. All right, guys. Chief Bro.